Nicaraguan arms deals, stolen computer databases, weapons testing on local Cabazon Indian land, and a lawsuit alleging conspiracy from the highest federal officials for the past 30 years. Bad things seem to happen to those who get too close to uncovering Cabazon Arms and its dealings with the federal government.
All right, Dave, so for the next 2 nights, we're going to be investigating yet another true crime mystery.
Yes, we are.
This is going to be really interesting because it involves an investigative journalist who was found dead in his hotel room in Martinsburg, West Virginia. And by all appearances, it kind of looked like it was an open and shut suicide case. But then people started to question.
Yeah, and the people that were closest with him, his family, you know, it was not characteristic of him to want to do something to harm himself, especially with what he was working on.
And when people started looking further into it, there was more to this story than anyone could have ever imagined. He was actually investigating probably one of the most interesting international conspiracy theories that no one has ever heard of. And once they started looking into what he was actually trying to connect, it included various levels of global government, an international cabal of spies, as well as international drug cartels and United States politicians that the New York Times said was big enough to put Watergate to shame.
Yeah, this was some next level stuff.
And for the next 2 nights, we are going to be staying in the actual hotel room where this investigative journalist was found dead, and hopefully hear the story from him as to how the events transpired on that fateful night.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to actually communicate with him and figure out what happened, because they're still not sure, and people are still hesitant to talk about it to this day because of the level of what he was trying to uncover.
Yeah, the hotel's right off this exit here, so let's check in and go see this room for the first time and start our investigation into cold case hauntings, the mysterious death of Danny Casolaro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Journalist Danny Casolaro investigated what he called the Octopus and was found dead in his hotel room in 1991. His reporter notes disappeared. The book on the conspiracy he was to name Indio was never finished. Even the detective desperately asks, "Am I just another lamb to the slaughter?"
We have all of our equipment loaded up here on the cart, and we are standing in the hallway right in front of room 517 in the former Sheraton Hotel.
Yes, we are. I have such an uneasy feeling about walking into this room because this is the actual room that everything went down in.
Yeah.
So,
You think about it, August 1991, a housekeeper walks through this exact doorway, going in to clean the room, and finds journalist Danny Casolaro dead in the bathtub.
yeah.
And we're about to walk in here. Let's go in. Oh.
This is weird, man. This is strange.
I looked right into where the bathtub was.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we were saying on the way down here, this room is on the 5th floor, so none of the plumbing or anything like that could have been changed after this happened.
No. This is the bathroom. And this is probably not the bathtub, but this is where the bathtub was.
Yes, it is. Are you picking up on that? It's just
Yeah.
like such a weird, odd energy in here.
Yeah, because what happened to him? He had a whole binder, a whole case, an accordion case full of documents and notes of his work trying to connect these conspiracy theories to different government politicians and different crime rings and crime circles. When they found him, all of it was gone.
Yeah.
Still, it has never been seen to this day. All of those notes that he had with him, gone. What happened? What happened to you, Danny? You know, one of the things I remember reading about this particular case was that they said the only fingerprints they could find in this room were the fingerprints of Danny himself. And what's so creepy about that, and it was actually made clear by Theodore Schendel, who's a former Buffalo police officer who knew Danny Casolaro, spoke to him before he died. He said it was booked, it always had people in the rooms, and when housekeeping comes in here to clean, they don't wipe away fingerprints. He said this place had been wiped clean of fingerprints by the time the police made it here.
Yeah. Only one fingerprint.
Only one fingerprint found.
On the bottom of an ashtray.
Why?
I don't know.
All of it stinks. It stinks of mystery. It stinks of a cover-up, which is what his family, friends, and co-workers were saying. It stinks of a cover-up.
It does.
But
yes, it does.
We need to actually go in detail, in depth, into some of the stories, into some of the information that this case holds. So do you want to sit down, pull up some articles and read through them and see what interesting tidbits we can find about this case?
Yeah, let's get it started, man. Let's see what we can dig up here.
Let's do it. Okay. So, the first thing I think we really need to do is we really need to kind of buckle down and look into some information on Danny, the case, and dive a little bit into why they believe this was not actually a simple open and shut case of someone taking their own life.
Yeah, there's too much mystery around it.
And it delves into a lot because Danny Casolaro was self-employed at the time of his death. For years, he had been working for different publications, doing investigative journalism, but he was delving into a case that he called the Octopus,
right,
which was a far-stretching conspiracy theory that he believed involved many levels of not only the US government, but also a lot of different governments on a global scale, including banks. And some people believe that it was just a conspiracy theory that led nowhere, and that caused him to dive into a deep depression and that he took his own life. Other people believe that he may have gotten too close to the truth.
Found out a little too much, maybe.
Maybe. So this is actually an article from the New York Times. Reporter is buried amid questions over his pursuit of conspiracy idea. The article was written August 17, 1991. A freelance writer who was found dead with his wrists slashed in a hotel room in Martinsburg, West Virginia a week ago was buried near here. I think here they're referring to Arlington, Virginia, because that's actually where Danny was buried, is Arlington, Virginia.
Yes.
The body of Joseph Daniel Casolaro, 44 years old, of Fairfax City, Virginia, was discovered by West Virginia authorities on Saturday in what was tentatively ruled a suicide. Mr. Casolaro's family and friends said that he had told them that he was going to Martinsburg to meet a source for the story he'd been working on for more than a year. Family members and associates have said that despite the views of the local authorities and findings of an autopsy, they strongly believe that Mr. Casolaro might have been slain because of what he had discovered. Mr. Casolaro had been investigating a case in which the owners of a computer software company called Inslaw have accused the Justice Department of stealing programs the company had designed to track criminal cases worldwide. So actually, this gets into a little bit about his brother here, because it says the case has been in the courts for nearly a decade, and Mr. Casolaro's brother, Dr. Anthony Casolaro of Arlington, Virginia, has told reporters he believed his brother may have been close to uncovering a major conspiracy in connection with the Inslaw case. He said in an interview today that his brother had told him in the last 2 months that if he died in an accident, don't believe it.
Oh, wow.
So he literally told his brother, if I die in an accident, don't believe it was an accident.
That's crazy.
And then he comes here to Martinsburg, West Virginia, to the Sheraton Hotel, to this hotel room.
This very room.
In the bathroom that is right here behind us. And they find him dead in that bathroom under mysterious circumstances. Dr. Casolaro said he was very skeptical his brother had taken his own life for several reasons, including the facts that his brother had recently received numerous death threats and that none of the notes on the case were found with his body. If this is a cut and dry, open and shut case of a man who was depressed with his work and took his own life, what happened to the rest of his work?
I don't know.
Elliot Richardson, a former United States Attorney General who now represents INSLAW in its suit against the Justice Department, said Mr. Casolaro's death should be subject to federal investigation led by someone of unquestioned integrity and independence. Former Attorney General of the United States of America says your death should be investigated.
Yeah.
There's definitely a chance your death should be investigated.
Yeah, definitely puts some questions into the air.
Mr. Richardson said today the significant thing about Danny's death is that he was seeking confirmation of what he believed he already knew. He said that if the informers Mr. Casolaro had already talked to were to be believed, it involved a conspiracy far worse than Watergate, one that involved various international banks, drugs, the persistence but unproven allegations that in 1980 some members of Ronald Reagan's presidential campaign team worked to delay the release of American hostages in Iran to damage President Jimmy Carter's re-election chances.
Wow. That's some big stuff right there.
Oh God!
What was that?
That light just fell over somehow. How the hell did that get... How the hell did that fall over?
I don't know. It's been sitting there for 5 minutes.
Hold on. Hold on. Oh, the hell. Getting B-roll shots and that light that's sitting behind the door just toppled over. And there's nobody in there. Hold on, this is uncut as you saw. Let me take this off of the slider here. I'm trying to do it quickly. You saw Dave just go in there.
Yeah. It was weird. It's been sitting there for several shots.
Danny? Granted, I know it was sitting in the bathtub. But like you said, you set it up so it would be sturdy.
Yeah.
It was...
It had been there for several minutes, so... I don't know. It sounded very violent.
It fell pretty hard.
That's very odd.
Yeah. That's what I thought. It scared the hell out of me. It didn't break it, did it?
That I don't know. Let's see. Nope. But, yeah, I have no idea how that happened.
Well, Danny, if you didn't like us sitting that in the bathtub, we're sorry about that. That is kind of creepy because that is the bathtub where they found him. And you had it sitting in the bathtub.
Yes.
I mean, the legs were closed enough so it'd sit flat on the bottom, so I don't understand how it did that, but...
I don't either. I really don't know. That's weird. I have no clue. Like, I'll try and set it back up how it was.
Okay, let me move out of the way here.
sitting just how it was.
Sitting perfectly in the bathtub. That's so weird. That came crashing down violently.
I don't know, like, if you move it, it doesn't, I mean, it's stable. So,
That startled the out of me.
well, yeah. I mean, that was not expected in the least, so.
But I think it goes deeper than this, because this continues to talk a little bit about the various problems with the actual report. The article goes on to talk about how they didn't actually do a proper autopsy on his body before the family was even alerted to his death, and his body was already embalmed. And that brings up a whole slew of questions. Who paid for the embalming? Why was he embalmed so quickly before the family was even notified of his death?
Right.
Was there some sort of cover-up going on, or were they just following procedures? This is a Washington Post article right here, written on August 31st, 1991 by Kim Masters. So this was international news. There were publications all over the United States, maybe even the world, that were talking about Danny Casolaro. What was that?
It sounded like a knock.
It sounded like something like is behind this conjoining door right here. That we're talking about Danny Casolaro.
Yeah.
That we're talking about Danny Casolaro.
Yeah. That was weird.
There's a conjoining room to this that we also rented for a couple of nights to keep the equipment and the gear and to have a separate room to sleep. 515, which is right on the other side of that door right there, and it sounded like someone was moving around in there.
It did. One of the things that I had brought up earlier, I wondered if maybe whomever did this to Danny stayed in that room over there and somehow made their way in here. Because nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows.
It would be the perfect place to actually make your entrance if you were trying to break into the room, or unless the person that actually carried out this heinous crime was let in voluntarily. That's also something we have to look into. Casolaro was here to meet a source about information.
Right.
He very well could have had someone to show up at his hotel room to give him this information, let them in willingly, and then had them attack him.
And depending on what level of people were coming after him, this was, back when this happened, these were like physical key rooms. They weren't key cards or anything like that. So it could have been someone that picked a lock to get in here.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been somebody that came in while he wasn't here and they just waited on him to go in the bathroom or something like that.
The next article that we are going to look into is from the Buffalo News. This is buffalonews.com. And part of the reason we wanted to read this is because it talks with someone in law enforcement that did not agree with the consensus that the police in Martinsburg came to.
Right.
And it's very interesting in regards to the death, because the cause of death, and this may be kind of graphic, so please, if you are not comfortable with hearing his cause of death, Danny was found in the bathtub with
What just happened?
I don't know. Cannot recover data. What the hell? That's never happened before, and we literally just formatted this card.
Yeah.
We just lost all of that.
How?
I don't know. We still have the clip of us walking into the room, but that's all we have.
But the clip of us sitting here talking about his murder just randomly deleted itself.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start rolling on this again.
Should we do a different memory card just in case we don't lose the walking in?
Yeah, probably. Let's do that. Is that one rolling back there again?
Yes.
I don't know how to explain that. We've had these cameras for
Years.
We've used these camcorders as a secondary angle to our interviews for years. I've never seen it do that before. We literally filmed this entire segment of us going through the news articles, talking about what the octopus was and why people believe it could be important enough to cause someone to commit murder. And the camera was on, it was rolling, it was recording. And then we get to the part where we're talking about his actual death. And that camera just shuts off. It just reboots itself. It stops, shuts off, and reboots itself. And the clips are gone. It said the clip that was on, that we were recording, was corrupted.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
That's bizarre. And the clips that we filmed earlier today, coming into the room for the first time, are still on there.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that we just filmed about government conspiracy theories, that specific clip is gone.
Is gone. I mean, we can't, there's no way for us to say it's paranormal. It sounds crazy to say that that's paranormal.
Yeah.
But it's weird.
It is weird. And we'll have this angle behind us here to show you that nobody got up and turned it off or anything.
Nah. It just click, snap, off.
Yeah.
I don't know, we should put a new memory card in that though, so in case it does it again, we don't lose anything that we filmed earlier.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll just have to start this again.
We'll just, start from where we were. We'll just, use the two angles that we had, and we'll just start from where we were. Let me go get a new memory card.
I'm over this conspiracy stuff. That was weird.
And Schendel in his book actually wrote, Danny got too close to the truth. Which again, of course, Danny got too close to the truth. There may not have been a truth to find. We don't know. But it's definitely very interesting, fascinating, peculiar. Is the octopus real? Is there some sort of overarching government conspiracy theory that drove this man to search for answers to the point that he was taken out, that he was murdered?
I don't know. That's the reason we're here for a couple nights. We're going to go and do some more research into this, dig a little bit deeper, head to a few of the places he frequented while he was here, and then we're going to come back at some point and try and communicate with Danny himself.
Yeah, and reading this stuff, reading about this overarching theory that he had about the octopus helps us get closer to being in his mindset, the confusion, the parts and pieces, putting it together. He was obsessed with this case. This is going to be a crazy series. I am really excited to get started. I think we should go and hit the ground running and start trying to get into the mind and get the information and details behind the case of what happened to Danny Casolaro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, this is night one. This is abandonment. We are leaving the hotel room. This is the bathtub, of course, where Mr. Casolaro's life came to an end. Sir, we put a light in the back corner there if you're here in the bathroom. We don't know whether you're here or not, but if you are, that'll let us know that you're here. If you can see that. Rolling.
Rolling on this one. You did turn it on, right?
The camera?
The REM pod.
Yes.
Okay.
This is abandonment. 3 cameras set up in the room we're leaving. We're going to be going to our first place of interest, where actually the last place that Mr. Casolaro was seen alive. So, sir, there's a light in the bathroom. We don't know if you can see it or not, in the bathtub. While we're gone, if you want to touch that, or if you want to walk in front of this door right here, this will play music if you walk in front of this door. Or you can touch this device on the bed right here too.
We're here to get some answers from you. We're going to be here for a couple of nights. We know nobody really wanted to listen to what you had to say, your conspiracies, if they were conspiracies or the truth. and we would like for you to come out and talk to us tonight.
We're here for you to tell us the truth, Dan. We're here to listen.
So Dave and I are walking along the road here. We just left the hotel.
Yes, we are currently walking down to the former Pizza Hut. It's now closed down, where Danny spent some time while he was in the area here. One of the waitresses there was somebody that the police investigated.
And when they interviewed her, she actually said that he spent most of his time. Danny was known as a romantic, kind of like a hopeless romantic, and he actually was pining to her with F. Scott Fitzgerald's epitaphs.
Yes.
Written on napkins, and he was slipping it to her. And she said that was the thing she remembered most about Danny. Seemed like he was in good spirits, not someone who would go back to the hotel room and take his own life.
Right.
Which leads a lot of people to believe that he didn't.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And I mean, the proximity here from the hotel to the actual former Pizza Hut is less than a football field.
Yeah, he literally walked over here.
Probably the same sidewalk we're walking on here.
Yeah.
Back in room 517, everything seems quiet as our cameras and audio recorders roll. But 18 minutes after we left the hotel, the digital audio recorder picks up a strange interference that almost sounds like a man's voice speaking through the white noise. None of the other microphones in the room picked up this sound at all, leading us to believe it may be a partial electronic voice phenomenon, or something unexplained speaking through the recorder. It's too inaudible to know for sure, but in about 15 minutes we'll capture another that appears to be speaking more clearly.
Alright, so we were walking up right here on the former Pizza Hut where Danny spent some time, again, like we said, while he was here.
And it's kind of weird because it looks like they just recently shut this place down.
Yeah. It does look like it was just very recently closed.
And they have all the windows actually papered up.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, you can kind of see in there, it's very limited, but
it's pretty interesting though, just to be here and to see this.
That doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's crazy to think that, you know, he walked probably the same sidewalk that we did and crossed the same place we did and walked right up to that door right there and went in and spent a couple hours having some beer trying to pick up a waitress.
Yeah. There's a lot of testimony in this case that didn't seem to be taken into consideration. His mood, his demeanor, the night that he was here at the Pizza Hut, his friends and his family, what they knew of what he was doing and the death threats that were being sent to him prior to his trip here to Martinsburg. None of that was taken into consideration before the medical examiner put pen to paper and finalized his cause of death on the death certificate. So,
and that whole scenario was shady as well.
Yeah, embalming him.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. So,
well,
hopefully we're getting something on abandonment up there.
I hope so. Let's wrap this part up and we'll check back in with abandonment here.
Yeah, let's go.
Back in room 517, it's been about 28 minutes since we left. And more bizarre and unusual events are about to take place. With 9 hours of recording space and a stable power supply, the camera in the bathroom mysteriously stops recording. We conduct these abandonment sessions on almost every investigation, and this has never happened with this camera. But one of our other cameras also malfunctioned not long ago as we were researching this case. Danny was found in the bathtub with what just happened? I don't know. Cannot recover data. 2 cameras, 2 separate occasions of unexplained malfunctions. What could be the cause? We have no idea. 23 minutes will pass before the next strange occurrence. And once again, it comes from the bathroom. And once again, the digital audio recorder picks up what sounds like a man attempting to speak to us. Though very brief, it's very sudden and startling. What do you think he's saying? We're back. All right, so we are getting ready to start the first night of investigating in room 517 at the former Sheraton, where Dan Casolaro was found dead in August of 1991. Yes. Now, we were reading an article from Ron Rosenbaum, and he was talking about all the different things that he enjoyed. He enjoyed raising horses, and he enjoyed poetry. He enjoyed music, musicians like Tom Waits, and that his favorite drink, his drink of choice, is a Budweiser.
Yes.
So what we'll do is go in there, crack open a cold one, sit down and talk, and hopefully he'll tell us what happened
I hope so, man.
that fateful night.
Let's do it.
Let's go in.
Switching to night shots. Shutting the door.
Mr. Casolaro, you probably saw us running around here for the past couple of hours. We're staying in the room tonight. Most people stay in this room just to stay in the room and have a place to sleep, but we're here specifically for you, my friend. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but we have read some stories that some of your friends wrote about you, and we actually read that you enjoyed a Budweiser every now and again. So we brought you a Budweiser in hopes that you'll come out and sit down and tell us your story. Is that okay with you? What do you think? Should we crack open these beers? And I know one thing you were worried about was that the room was bugged. When you were here to meet with your informant, your source, in August of 91, you were afraid that the room was bugged so you wouldn't have conversations in here. Well, I can promise you 100%, Dan, we checked for wires. There's new management in the hotel. We promise you can talk to us. There's no bugs in this room. There's no wires, there's no microphones except for the ones that we are going to use to try and capture your voice.
It's your turn to tell your story. We're just here to help you do that. We have a couple of strange looking lights and devices around here that might look like some kind of a government rig or government setup or something like that, but these are ours. We brought them with us for you to communicate with us.
To let us know that you're here.
And you can just simply walk up to each one of them and try and touch it, and it'll let us know that you're here.
Or you can move them around and knock them down like you did the light that was in the bathroom a little bit ago. Oh, God!
What was that?
That light just fell over somehow. We've got some that are pretty easily knocked over if you are interested in that.
Danny, are you here with us? Dan, we are going to be here for a couple of nights, and we'd like to earn your trust and have you come out and talk to us. They told the world that you killed yourself right in there in the bathroom, in the bathtub. Did you do that to yourself? What was that?
Sounded like it was over by that door. Because if you didn't, this is your chance to set the record straight, Dan.
We know for your journalism, a lot of the time that you used a tape recorder to record your findings and things like that. Well, technology has progressed, and right here in Ryan's hand, that's what our tape recorders look like now. So if you could give us some answers into the tape recorder right here, that's another way we can communicate with you.
Tell you what, my friend, here's what we'll do. Recording. This is Danny Casolaro's room. We brought a tape recorder right there for you to talk to us as well. We got one that's new and one that you would remember. It's me. How about that, buddy? It's all yours, my friend. What's that?
I'm not sure.
Why don't you sit down there and have some suds? Get yourself a brew.
You can sit right there on the edge of the bed and have a drink. Sit down and have a conversation with us. We're here on our own investigation to talk to you and see what kind of stories you had, because we're interested in that.
Let me try a little experiment here, Danny. There's a little box right here. Whoops. We got a little box right here that I'm going to set down right here on this desk. I'm not going to sit here in this chair. I'm going to move out of the way so you have some space to use it once I set it up. But there's a lot of people believe that you can use this box to make your voice clear and present again. I'm going to go ahead and cut on this tape recorder so that it doesn't interfere. Thank you if you talk to that. Mr. Casolaro, they call this a spirit box. They say that you can use the sound of the white noise to make your voice come through for us to hear. Let me get this dialed in here, my friend. Okay. I think I finally got it. It's a little bit tougher to dial in because that's an analog spirit box. It's not as much of a turn it on and go as your other versions like the PSP7 or the S-Box. This one you have to try and dial it in until you hit that sweep rate that allows for the best possible results without interference.
Dan, come on up and have a seat here if you'd like, and try and have a talk to us through the radio. Have a beer, sit down and have a chat with us. Does that sound good?
Can you come through and say your name for us, please, so we know that you're here? Get as close as you can to that box and see if you can use it to talk.
That was creepy.
Someone went, what?
Yeah.
Who is this that we're talking to? Who's here with us right now?
Dan, are you trying to come through? Some of the staff have said that they've experienced your spirit in here. You know, you can use our energy to help you communicate if you need. What can we do to gain your trust?
Say out or now? I'm not sure. It was the same voice that said what?
Yeah.
We had a long time there where it was just static and white noise, so it's like it's weird that all of a sudden voices are coming through.
Yeah.
Stop.
Make it stop.
Please. I said make it stop. Please.
Make what stop?
It's like it's weird that all of a sudden voices are coming through.
Yeah.
Stop.
Make it stop.
Please. I said make it stop. Please. Danny, are you in trouble? Are you in pain? That kind of was like a punch right to the gut.
Yeah.
Like I said, to make it stop, please. Are you okay? You need our...
What did it say?
Sound like a little bit.
Are you okay?
Can you tell us where we are, Danny?
The F-bomb?
Sound like it said... Can you tell us where we are, Danny?
The F-bomb?
Sound like it said... Who were you waiting on?
Don't hurt. We're not here to hurt anybody. Honestly, we're here just to be friends.
We brought you a beer. We brought you a Budweiser, your favorite. I just got a static. Got a very strong movement of static just went right in front of me.
Really?
I know you're probably worried because the last time someone came in here, they meant to do you harm, but we don't.
Yeah. What did they do to you?
I wonder.
Come with me.
Huh? Said come with me.
Watch the REM pod.
Yep.
Hear that, Danny? You can make that go off too.
Dan?
Dan, we're gonna have some more questions for you tomorrow.
We just wanted to see if your voice would come through more clearly if we came into this room. Which we know is the room that you passed away. If you would rather us go back outside into the bedroom area, let us know by setting off one of these devices.
God.
Sorry. Let us know by setting off one of the devices, just like... Is that me?
Yeah, had to have been.
Yeah, there we go, it's down here. That was what I did. Okay. Let us know by setting off one of the devices in the other room. It's gone pretty quiet, but it was really weird because we caught a few voices that started to come through very clearly. Not only did it say the F-bomb, but It sounded like someone said, "Make it stop, please." That was very, very clear. We tried to press for more answers on what they needed to stop. We didn't get anything that we know of yet, so.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting session.
Yeah. A little bit slow, and then some voices started coming through, and then it kind of just stopped. But some very frantic voices that were coming through.
Very panicked.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Dan will have more of an energy tomorrow, more of a presence tomorrow to come out and speak with us. So.
Yeah.
All right, it is now 2 a.m. and I am getting ready to fall asleep in the same room where Danny Casolaro was found dead in August of 1991. I'm gonna keep this camera right beside me the whole time. If anything happens to me in the middle of the night and I wake up, I'm gonna turn it on and hopefully capture something. But we've got a long day tomorrow, so Dave is in the room behind me. Dave is in the conjoining room, 215. We're gonna get some sleep and see what happens tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
It is the next day here. We are getting ready to start our search for more information on the Danny Casolaro case here. Kind of interesting that it was kind of a quiet night sleeping, nothing really happened, but the more we actually research on our, spare time and on our cell phones, the more we find out. And we actually found out that not only was there a professional, national renowned crime scene replicator from Connecticut that was brought in on the case, but after his replication from the police information, it came to light that there were some details withheld from him, and he went back on his original determination, which was that he said it was not inconsistent with someone taking their own life. Kind of weird.
It is very weird, very strange. A lot of mystery surrounding all of this.
Yeah.
Strange, just weird.
It is. So we're going to start by heading over to the courthouse. We're going to try, of course, we're not going to be able to film in the courthouse, but we're going to head over to the courthouse and try and see if we can hopefully find someone who can help us print out documents and records, because they keep all that stuff, court documents, police records, that sort of thing, in relation to the case. And hopefully we'll be able to get something that we can read through, because we've been searching for people to interview. We can't find anybody in this area.
No, and it's very weird. Another thing that's happening is, and it might just be a fluke, but anytime we try and search for something, like, nothing comes up about anything in this area. Like, old locations that Danny went to, they just seem to have disappeared. I don't know. To me, it is very strange.
Yeah. It is. We're desperately trying to find information here, guys, about this case. But there's people in the area that say they heard about it when it happened, but nobody was actually here or was connected with it.
No.
And we can't get a hold of anybody that actually was connected or knew Danny. We've reached out, we've messaged people. Nobody's responded to us, nobody got back to us, so.
Yeah. Everybody kind of just, I don't know. They seem like they've never heard of it before, or they just kind of clam up and don't want to talk about it, which is strange.
Tonight is going to be the real test to see if we can get answers from him.
Yes, it is.
Oddly enough, this morning when I woke up and first went to go get a cup of coffee before we even were ready to start filming for the day, I ran into one of the housekeepers who said she was cleaning the 5th floor, and the housekeeper, she didn't want to be on camera, but she said that she knows all about the case, she knows what happened in the room, and she knows that Danny is still there. So,
yeah, I mean, she was telling you that she has herself had activity in the room there.
Yeah, she said that she heard the story, she talks to him when she's cleaning that room, and she even said that there was one day that she was cleaning, she had a bottle of cleaning solution sitting on the toilet, and while her and her colleague were cleaning, the bottle of cleaning solution
flew off of the toilet and onto the floor. So it's not uncommon for employees and staff of that hotel to have experiences.
No, it is not.
But we are pulling into the courthouse here now. We got to figure out where we're going to go. So we'll start filming again as soon as we figure out this and what's happening. And hopefully by the time we come back to you guys, hopefully we have some documents that we can actually go through and review. So if we don't, we'll be pretty frustrated.
Yes, we will.
We went inside the building and we didn't find any documents. We did run into a private investigator who works here in the city of Martinsburg, and he agreed to talk to us, and he also gave us a bunch of names of people that worked on the case. And we're gonna go try and find and track down some of these people, and hopefully we can get an interview or something with someone. Hopefully find someone who's willing to talk to us.
So it's kind of the first big breakthrough we've had on this one.
He told us that one of the detectives that worked on the case for Martinsburg Police is now the chief of police. And he even told us that one of the maintenance men that worked at the hotel at the time that it happened is still working as a maintenance man at that hotel.
Yeah.
So,
And apparently what he was saying is he helped clean up the room afterwards, so.
yeah.
They'll just go in and do the exterior, and then they'll do reupholstery and paint and wallpaper and carpet, things like that. That room was done overnight.
I'm sure.
And it should have been a crime scene for months.
Right.
But it was done overnight, literally. And my buddy did it.
Eric?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
At behest of his bosses.
Oh, wow.
That's
wild,
there's some mystery in it with him, but just as a tickler, that's a great guy to talk to who no one else has ever talked to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was the guy that was told to get in there, get the in, get the out.
Are you in contact with him?
Yeah, he's a buddy.
So we just pulled in here to the City of Martinsburg Police Department. We're getting ready to call the Secretary of the Chief of Police, which is George Swartwood. We're just going to ask and find out if he will talk to us, see if he'll give us any information about the case, his own personal experience, not official police business, but just his own stories. Let me call this here. Hi, my name is Ryan Zackrell. I was just inside the front lobby there of the police department, and I was told that you were the lady that I needed to talk to make an appointment to speak with the Chief of Police, George Swartwood. So it's what we're basically doing is we're making a video for YouTube just with general information about the Danny Casolaro case from 1991, and we talked to a guy named John Fink who told us that the chief of police was a detective on the case, and it's nothing official. It's just we would, if possible, like to speak with him and maybe get his experiences into the case, because I'm not sure if you heard of it. It's a very mysterious case. Okay. Yeah, that would be perfect. Yes, that would be perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, hello, sir. My name is Ryan Zackrell. I am calling because I was looking for some information on the Danny Casolaro case. I was given your information by a man named John Fink, who told me that you were a detective on the case. We're just looking to make a video about the case in and of itself, because it is a pretty interesting case. So we were just hoping to sit down and hopefully speak with you and maybe get your personal experience on what it was like to work a case that was shrouded in so much mystery. If you could please give me a call back. My number is 304. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to hear from you soon, sir. Bye. Well, there you go. Just left a message on the police chief's voicemail. And now we wait.
Let's hope they don't dodge us.
Let's hope.
After running into a dead end at the Martinsburg Police Department, we drive around thinking about the mystery surrounding this case. One thing that still puzzles me is the role alcoholic beverages could have played in the investigation. During the initial police investigation of the hotel room, after Danny's body had been discovered, a half-empty wine bottle and a broken wine glass were discovered. Underneath Danny's body, in the bathtub, an empty beer can was found with the razor blade investigators believe Danny used to take his own life. So why is it the Berkeley County Medical Examiner found no evidence of alcohol in Danny's body? The county medical examiner theorized that if he stopped drinking on Friday afternoon, the alcohol would be mostly cleared from his system by the time of death on Saturday morning. If that's the case, how could you explain the beer can found in the bathtub with him? We know as soon as Danny arrived in Martinsburg on Thursday, he checked into the hotel and immediately went to the Stone Crab Inn to drink. So that's where we'll go to brainstorm where our research could take us next. When we arrive, we receive a text from John about his friend, Eric, the maintenance man.
The guy that we met at the courthouse, just by happenstance, got us an interview with the maintenance man who cleaned up the room after Danny Casolaro, after his death. So we're really interested in hearing this because he would know. He was the one that cleaned it up. He's going to know where there was evidence, where there was blood. He's going to have an inside look into what was missed, what he felt was missed by the police or by the FBI or whoever was investigating it. So
Yeah, we started this day off not knowing, really where we were going to go with this, and now we're just a few hours into it, and we are going to be, interviewing, like Ryan said, interviewing the guy who cleaned up the room afterwards.
it is, and all of these developments happening when we're sitting in the parking lot of an establishment that Danny Casolaro frequented whenever he was here in Martinsburg. It was called the Stone Crab Inn, but now it's called the Mountaineer Pub. Of course, it changed owners, business changed, but we're sitting outside of a place that Danny Casolaro actually used to frequent and drink whenever he was here in Martinsburg, and it seems like his investigative spirit into everything that he was investigating may be coming into play here. Maybe we're getting a little bit of help from the man himself.
Maybe. It sure seems like it.
That's crazy. Well, we got to head back to the hotel here. Let's drive back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And let's talk to this maintenance man.
I'm excited for this. This is going to be cool.
I know, this is awesome.
When we arrive back at the hotel, we meet with both John and Eric. But both of them say they don't have the time to sit down on camera, and Eric even alludes to the fact that he's still nervous about having his story captured on video and audio because he doesn't know what type of dangerous people could be involved in a conspiracy like this. But he does tell us his story in a brief 10-minute conversation in the hotel lobby. When he's finished, he goes back to work, and we go back up to the room to ponder over what he just told us.
Okay, so come on in, Dave. All right. So we just got back from talking with the maintenance man, and it seems like just like everyone else that we've contacted, they don't want to go on camera. With him, it was a little bit different. He was in the middle of a work day. He was getting ready to hang a chandelier. But also he said he was a little bit apprehensive still 30 years later about talking about this because he was unsure who out there would be upset with answers being found.
Sure. Yeah.
So we really appreciate him sitting down and talking to us and giving us the information, but yet he didn't want to be on camera. He didn't want to be recorded. So, but he gave us some interesting information.
Just another person along this journey that just didn't feel comfortable talking about it 30 years later, which should say something about,
How mysterious it is.
how mysterious and how potentially involved and the higher ups that it could be.
Yeah.
So
You think about what Danny was working on, the Octopus, everything that happened with his research, these secret government agencies, these secret drug smuggling spies, the Iran-Contra, all the way to the President of the United States and a lot of world leaders in between back then. That was what his research was on, so it would make anyone nervous. It's understandable.
yeah, yes it is.
But it was interesting what he told us because he said that day he got a call on his phone
to come up here to 517, and they wouldn't tell him why. It was from the front desk worker and the housekeeper.
Yeah, he had asked them what he needed to bring up to fix, and they told him to bring his courage.
That's right, yeah.
So.
They said, what do I need to bring? What am I fixing? And they just said, just bring your courage.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got up here, he said they were standing outside the door, and they just looked shocked, terrified. And then he asked them what was wrong, and they said that there's blood everywhere in the bathroom. They didn't actually go into the bathroom, but he said they saw blood everywhere, backed right back out.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew at that point what was going on. He said all the bathroom walls and everything were just covered.
Yeah.
And handprints, he said handprints all over the wall. Like someone was running their hands along the wall, razor blades on the counter, razor blades on the floor, beer can on the floor, broken ashtray, broken glass, like there was some sort of a struggle. And he said it himself, he said, like there was a struggle.
Mm-hmm. A bloody champagne bottle between the toilet and the tub there.
That's right. But it wasn't until he said he creeped around the door and looked through this crack and saw the arm of someone in the bathtub that he left and went out and called the police.
Yeah.
He said at that point he wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted to be out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And, I just looked right through the door jamb right there and saw that.
So that's some good information, but he did confirm. We asked him, we said, was there blood anywhere else in the room?
Yeah.
And he said no.
Yeah, he said the room was, normal. He had his clothes laid out, newspaper laid out on the bed, and just like a normal hotel room setting.
He did confirm, the maintenance man did confirm and say, when Dan's brother got here looking for him and he looked at the note, he said that's not his handwriting. Now that we've acquired a copy of the note, we can take a look at it ourselves and compare it to a page of Danny's personal notebook that was acquired from his home office. Looking at both, we notice similarities and discrepancies. The first thing we notice is that Danny seemed to switch between cursive letters and printed letters frequently in his handwriting. Looking at the note found in the hotel room, it does the same. But to start analyzing, we'll look at the cursive writing because it requires flow and rhythm, and these letters will give us the best conclusion based on comparison. After reading both the hotel note and the handwriting comparison, we really only found one duplicate word, and that's the word B. In the hotel note, the word B shows up once. In our handwriting example pulled from his notes in his home office, it shows up twice. Notice how all three cases the handwriting is almost exactly the same. Next, we look at the letter S on the end of the word ones. It matches very closely with the letter S on the end of the word contents, and again with the S on the end of the word lists. Staying on the same word, look at how the O is written. Over on Danny's confirmed handwriting example, look at the O in over time. It seems to be a very close match. Now the M in my and me, compared to the M in dynamic and problem, they're very similar. An argument could be made for the neatness of the hotel note compared to the handwriting example, but this could be explained away, as Danny could have deliberately written more neatly and legibly, so others could read it more easily. At the very beginning of the note, the letter T, and in the very first line, the letter P stand out as distinctly different than any other letters written in our handwriting example. But again, he could have deliberately written more neatly and legibly for others to read, which was not a present circumstance in our handwriting example, as he probably scribbled that information on a page for his own reference. In our own personal opinion, we believe that it is very probable that Danny Casolaro wrote this note. One of our key investigation techniques is the Estes method of spirit box communication, the Estes method. I think an interesting way to go about that would be for you to sit in the bathtub.
Okay.
With the headphones and spirit box on to see if he'll come through and talk to you. It's come down to the final night here of investigating in room 517 at the former Sheraton.
Yes, here we are.
We have gotten to explore the places that Danny Casolaro went to, where he was last seen alive. We've met with quite a few people who have given us knowledge behind the scenes.
Yes.
A lot of them would not come on camera, but there's a lot to know.
There is. There's a lot to uncover here. You know, we've gone through a lot trying to find this stuff.
And it comes down to the idea of, was his death self-inflicted, or was his death the result of some feud that he created through his research, through his search for answers and knowledge, trying to uncover this secret organization,
right,
that he believed existed.
And it seems to be a mixed bag on how it actually happened.
And I think that's partially why the case is so difficult to uncover, because on the flip side, if someone did actually kill Danny Casolaro, there's a lot of people that would make sure that that was never discovered.
Yeah.
If he killed himself, the conspiracies that have surrounded this case have not allowed it to be put to rest.
Yeah.
And hopefully tonight we can try and do everything that we can to contact him, and we can hear from him what actually happened. That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason that we set out to do this, is try and get his side of his story. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but we want to hear it from him himself, if we can.
Yeah. And I think to start the night, even though we did an abandonment last night in the first part of our investigation, I think it's important. It's an important part of our investigative process to actually set up these cameras and see what they capture when the place is completely empty.
Yeah.
And everyone at home already saw in the first part what happened during that abandonment. Sitting here, filming this second part, we still don't know.
We have no idea. Could have been a lot, could have been nothing. And that's just the way it goes. So why not do two?
Mm-hmm. He could have spoken to us last night during our investigation through EVPs. We don't know. We heard some voices through the spirit box, some voices that sounded like they were very distraught. Almost every voice that came through the spirit box on our first investigation sounded like it was distraught.
Yeah, very distraught. Yeah, it was strange.
But who knows what'll happen tonight?
There's only one way to find out. Only one way to find out.
Let's set it up and do it.
Let's do it.
That's Dave.
Everything else is rolling, right?
Yep. Got my wallet, got my keys.
I got everything. All right, Danny, please talk to us. Use some of this equipment. We want to know you're here.
And we will be back in a few to talk to you, my friend. All three of the cameras and the audio recorder were set up for almost exactly 1 hour while Dave and I went to get dinner. Unfortunately, after Dave reviewed all 4 hours of this abandonment footage, he found that absolutely nothing strange, unusual, or paranormal happened in the time that we were gone. Hopefully after we return, Danny will feel comfortable talking to us. We're back. I'm trying to get in. Close.
So if my shoe comes into frame here. Cool. Okay. Sorry.
What? Danny? Are you... Danny, is that you? What? That's... peculiar.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. That's very strange. Danny, are you here? Are you coming out to talk with us tonight?
What the hell was that? Dude. That was on that door.
Yeah, it was. Whoa. It sounds like it's about to open. Open that door.
What the hell was that? Dude. That was on that door.
Yeah, it was. Whoa. It sounds like it's about to open. Open that door.
That chair's in front of it, but...
Come on, Danny, you can come out and talk to us. Dude, I'm covered in chills.
Yeah, me too. Is that the door that someone came through? Did someone come through that door and hurt you, Danny?
That was too weird, man. This going off, and then stopping, and then that, like, I don't know.
Let me see if I can recreate this.
Try the door. Whoa.
The dude.
You scared me, Danny. If that was you, I'm sorry. I know you like to put it. What was that?
What'd you hear?
Like a clicking sound.
I don't know.
We were told you'd like to put on a show for people, make people happy and smile. That made me jump, so hopefully you got a good laugh out of that. I don't know, you want to do an SD session? I'll go in there.
Yeah, we have it all set up for you in there. I'll stay out here and ask the questions, and you can go in there and lay in the bathtub where they found Danny Casolaro. We have some candles set up. Hopefully he can draw energy from the candles to talk to you.
Yeah. All right, folks, let's
just be careful of the flames.
Get me in here. I am old with a bad back, so...
Dan Casolaro? That's interesting. It did not go off one time when I was in the bathroom. Danny, if you're here, can you give us a sign of your presence? Can you show us that you're here? We're here to talk about the Octopus. My name's Ryan, that's Dave. We were here last night introducing ourselves to you. This is Martinsburg. West Virginia. This hotel is no longer the Sheraton.
There was a word that came through, but I could not understand it.
Thank you if you responded. But look, if it was my IR light setting off that music box.
Friends?
Yes. Yeah, Danny, we're friends. We want...
Dave. Yes, my name's Dave.
Yeah. Dave's in the tub.
I thought I heard the word suicide.
What? Oh, I got chills so bad right now.
Far from murder?
Far from murder? Danny, what are you talking about?
For the past few days of reviewing this spirit box audio, this one puzzled me. Dave's hearing must have been on some sort of superhuman level, because for the last week, I've only heard one word come through. So I applied a denoiser, vocal enhancer, low-pass filter, and various other audio clarity effects to the spirit box audio, and suddenly I started to hear two other words embedded within the white noise. They're very faint, and barely come through as a whisper. And I can't say with 100% certainty that the words make up the message that Dave heard. But take a listen again and see what you hear. You may need headphones to hear this voice.
Far from murder? Far from murder?
Did you hurt yourself, or did someone else hurt you? Thank you. Can you go in there and tell Dave?
Make it or fake it or something like that?
Your family is wondering. Your family has been wondering for 3 decades.
I thought I heard the word Steve come through.
Steve. Who is Steve?
Come on, Danny. Gonna have to speak a little stronger. Steve.
Who is Steve?
5.
5. Danny, I don't know what to make of that. You're gonna have to be a little bit more clear. What happened to you in that bathtub? That's not me, guys, look. That's not me. Come on, Danny.
Feeling very uncomfortable.
Did Ronald Reagan bribe the Iranians to keep the hostages until after his inauguration? Did he do that, Danny? Mr. Casolaro, if you're here with us, go in and talk to Dave just like you did. Or if there's someone else, another spirit that knows what happened to Daniel Casolaro, please let us know. Go talk to Dave. on the side of the bathtub, there's candles. Use the flame, the heat from the flame. Draw energy from that. Or from Dave or I, you can draw energy from us too. Draw the energy to talk to us, to talk to Dave.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just felt the bathtub vibrate.
That's weird. I don't know, that's so bizarre. Danny, are you in the bathtub with Dave? Ow. That's weird. All the hair's standing up on my body. I got a really sharp pain in my wrist right now. On the back side of my wrist. Right there. Danny, are you making me feel what you felt? That hurts. It's okay if you are. Ow. That hurts. It's okay if you are. Ow. It's okay if you are. Ow.
Taking the headphones off, it's going silent.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn the S box off.
Okay. You sit right there. Okay, what was that? I didn't move the camera.
No move. I mean, what in the world? Danny, would you like me to sit in here for a few minutes by myself and talk to you?
We decided that Danny may be more confident to talk to us in a one-on-one conversation. So Dave will stay in the room by himself for a little while. As soon as I leave, I'm going to grab my room key and head down to the lobby to look for coffee and to give Dave and Danny some space to talk.
All right, Danny. It's just us. Won't you come out and talk to me? I hear you making that one in there go off now. Can you push it right off of the side of the bathtub? Now you're checking them out, huh? Hey, you Ryan! Thought maybe Ryan would hear me and come back in and see what you were doing. It's pretty cool. Okay, I just heard a noise in the bathroom and a noise right over here. Where'd you go, Danny? Can you come back out? I won't have Ryan come in this time. I know you were an answers man, right? Were you an answers man? You wanted to know the truth, and you wanted other people to know the truth about what's going on. Where'd you go? Danny, did they hurt you and then cover it up? If that's what they did, can you make one of these go off? I know that you know how. But your energy seems to be just coming and going. A lot of people say you got too close to the truth, and certain people didn't like that. Did Looney have something to do with it? The man who rented the room next to you?
Mr. Looney had rented the room next to Danny, and even had drinks with him the night of his arrival to Martinsburg. They shared a conversation about Casolaro's book, and Looney said he wasn't too impressed with his theories. When he was questioned by police, he told them that he played the devil's advocate to Casolaro's research for most of their time together at the Sheraton. That same night, one of Danny's sources turned out to be fruitless, and on Friday afternoon, Casolaro told a bartender that he had had a rough night. If Mr. Looney's criticism contributed to a bad night, it may be a name he remembers. And 45 seconds after Dave asked Danny about the man he had spent most of that Thursday evening with, this happened.
So did Looney have something to do with it? Danny, help me out here. If Looney had something to do with it, can you make this one go off?
Anything?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Look. Dude, look, it jumped up to a 10.4.
Oh, wow.
When that mel meter went off in the bathtub, it jumped up to a 10.4 milligauss.
That's crazy.
That's a high EMF spike.
Yeah.
Right at the same time the REM was triggered.
Yeah.
That means something touched that device.
Yeah.
Something that is made of electromagnetic energy touched that device, causing it to go off because the REM triggered and the EMF spiked up from a 0.3, 0.4 where it had stayed for over an hour to a 10.4. If that's not proof that there was something there that touched that, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That's crazy. So, I'm over here in 515. Dave just finished his solo with some interesting results, and I am going to go in there by myself now and see if Dan is still there and will continue to talk to us. We would have continued, but all of our memory cards were full, so we had to come over here and switch them out. Now I have 2 cameras set up in there waiting on me. I'm going to go in there and try and see if I can talk to him.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here, why don't you lock me out so people know I'm not coming in and messing with anything?
Yep. There you go. All right, Danny. So, Dave stayed in here with you for a little bit by himself, and you were talking to him a little bit there. I'm gonna come in here, try and talk to you a little bit myself as well. All right, there's a box in my hand here. I don't know if you remember this, but we were using it last night. Hi. Is there someone in here with? Is there someone in here with me? 3? 3 what? Why is the same voice coming through so frequently? There's no way. Dan? Dan Casolaro, is that you? Whoa. That wasn't me. Maybe it was me. That was me.
I was so focused on debunking the Mel meter triggering, which I did cause by touching the bed too hard, that I didn't even hear this voice. But I wish I had heard it in the moment, because when reviewing the footage, I about dropped my coffee. I distinctly hear a man say, "Hey," and then my last name, as if someone's calling out to me. Hey, Zackrel. See if you hear the same thing.
We know we've been in here asking you a lot of questions, asking a lot of you to communicate with us. I'm sure it's not easy to do that, so we thank you for that. But we just wanted to have one more conversation with you, if that's okay. You know, we didn't know it, but at separate times while Ryan and I were in here by ourselves, we both got a very sad and somber feeling sitting in here. Did you feel like that when you were in here?
We'll have to wake up in the morning and start our long journey home, so.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of interest in this case, and can't wait to get back and review everything that we've gone through tonight. Hopefully there's some answers, and if we didn't get any answers this time, that doesn't mean that we won't come back and try it again, and until we do get something, because that's what we do. It's why we do it. So
yeah.
There's no doubt that this has been one of our most challenging cases. This journey into the life and death of Danny Casolaro has been almost all-consuming. And for these 2 days and the weeks that followed, we searched for answers in a way that left us exhausted, confused, and no closer to a definite answer to the question, what happened to Danny Casolaro? Through our research and our time in this hotel room, we feel like we got to know Danny a little bit. We discovered a passionate, driven, and kind-hearted man who was desperate to leave his mark on this world. Until the day that answers can be found and the truth comes out, we all can honor Danny by remembering him for who he was rather than how he died. At his funeral service, family and friends celebrated Danny Casolaro's life with a song that he wrote himself. It's called I Adore You Today. Don't worry about those bills. We'll climb 1,000 hills. I'm a millionaire. Don't have a dime or care, because I adore you today. Rest in peace, Danny.